Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look here at Matic, see kind of what's going on there, and obviously help identify if it's going to keep going up or where we're at specifically at this point. Now, obviously, if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, I love teaching people how to trade, and my goal is to help you become a better trader. So if you can learn a thing or two here today, I'd love to hear. If you did, feel free to comment below, let me know. And more importantly, if you want a better, more hands-on experience, we've got a trading academy, and obviously some really good opportunities to become a better trader. Okay, I send out signals for every trade that I take, private chat group, the whole 9 yards. Reference that at CryptoCache.tech. Link in the description below for that. Now, take a look here at Matic, of course, some obvious stuff we want to try to identify. So on the one-day chart, we are looking better. Okay, and when I say better, if you consider kind of what Bitcoin is doing right now, of course, we see a strong increase here from Matic as well. It's a nice little recovery. So that head and shoulders pattern from Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart didn't come to full fruition today. In fact, it's looking more like a Loch Ness monster or a camel, where the price is just continuing upwards. We had some pretty good situations there here today, but again, it's only about 3 hours worth of strong bullish momentum. So I just recommend you be very careful with that. Same with Matic too, just in general, because the fact that it's fairly reliant on Bitcoin, you can see a very similar pattern to Bitcoin. In fact, the reds are stronger and the greens are not as strong. So in other words, Matic is selling off stronger when Bitcoin does and not increasing as well when Bitcoin increases. So today, you'd probably want to expect a correction here today from Matic just based on that sentiment alone. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but that could factor in, right? Another thing to factor into is the 200-day simple moving average. The price is essentially getting rejected off of that, or just essentially, testing it for right now. Okay. Now, if we get the one-day candlestick to close above, that'd be awesome. If not, that's okay too. We just kind of got to see how it consolidates closer to the resistance. But simply put, right now, $1.66 appears to be a point of contention because you can see the price has had trouble passing that point recently. Same thing here with the MACD as well. We got a kind of a convergence a couple days ago, giving us an indication we might see a shift in momentum, but it's mostly just leveling out, and it's only increasing right now based on what happened today from Bitcoin. So I don't put a lot of value or weight into that. The one thing I do put a lot of weight into would be the RSI, specifically in the one-day chart. We're still under 50, still considered to be bearish until we can break above 50 on the RSI, which is reflectant of 175/188 on the price action. Then we will not need to really concern ourselves with the fact that it's like ready to take off. Okay. Matic has a tendency of doing very well independent of Bitcoin, but recently it's aligned itself fairly well with it because of all the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. When that fear, uncertainty, and doubt dissipates, I think Matic will definitely take back off and be, marching to the beat of its own drum. But for right now, you can definitely see a very similar pattern to Bitcoin. So I just think it's important to identify that. Oftentimes, coins that do very well are those that can break free from Bitcoin. And most coins right now are synonymous with Bitcoin. There's a few other exceptions, of course, but Matic so far hasn't proven that it wants to get away from that, if you will. But taking a look at the 4-hour chart, we are up over the 50-day simple moving average. That is helpful. That does help us a lot. We also see that we're up over 50 on the RSI. So there's a midterm shift from bearish to bullish. That's obvious. Now, how long will this last? All depends on Bitcoin if it wants to continue to stay right at 40,250 or it wants to break below, or essentially just close above, right? We want to wait for the one-day candlestick to close. That's my recommendation here for that. So just be careful, be cautious, and make sure you understand what you're getting into and have a nice tight stop loss if you're going to take a short position or even a long position, because the bottom could drop out. It could just be a short squeeze. There's not a lot of selling pressure, a lot of different reasons. But for right now, Matic is in good shape. We're seeing a bit of a continuation here as well. If we look at the TD sequential, that's the same exact scenario. Like almost every coin that I've covered here today looks like this exactly. And what I mean by that is the last 6 candlesticks on the 4-hour chart, essentially that 24-hour period, it's continuing up to a 6. In other words, we have roughly about a half a trading day left worth of bullish potential momentum. So if we can break this plane here, right here, where 166, where Matic is having some trouble, we can get that to close above that key level resistance, then we're going to be in good shape, because you can see it could not pass that for roughly about a full trading day. Okay, so we can break above and close above 166 today. I think it'd be a very, very good sign for Matic. All right, so that's kind of what we're looking at there for the 4-hour. Just again, pretty standard stuff here. I mean, we also have a MACD convergence right there at 1 a.m. Exact same thing happened on all the other coins. Okay, so we're seeing the synonymous behavior, which is just basically telling us that once again, Bitcoin rules them all. Now, this little line that I drew here is kind of just helping us understand that's when the MACD convergence occurs. So somewhere in this time frame, we had a convergence on the MACD telling us to take a long position. That's generally the concept there. So had we just set our indicators or alerts for that, that would have flagged. And what that basically just means, if we look at TD sequential, correction, Ichimoku cloud, then we can see here, of course, that the price action broke above right around that same time. And effectively have this long potential indicator here. We're telling us we're above the conversion lines over the baseline. The Ichimoku cloud is effectively telling us everything is good to go here for a long position, right? Most coins are going to do that. And the reason why that is simply put, you see these last 3 hours, like that 3 hours right there, which is roughly how much in travel? That's about 7.5%. That's almost exactly what Bitcoin's done, right? Bitcoin had a dip and then a sharp increase in 3 hours. So I just recommend being careful and cautious because Bitcoin, yes, it's up over 40,000. Great, hooray, right? But as a tentative hooray, we don't need to get super excited until that actually reaffirms itself as a strong support level. Right now, it's testing a resistance and it's not broken yet, okay? Wait for the one-day candlestick to close. Be patient and try not to just jump all in at once, okay? If you're a Matic fan, by all means, add to your position. Dollar cost average is perfectly fine. $1.66 is a good value. But if the price drops tomorrow to 130, you're going to probably wish you hadn't put everything all in at once, okay? Use a little bit at a time, dollar cost average correctly. And I cover all this again in my Trading Academy, of course, link in the description below for my website if you're not familiar with that. But I can tell you that it's definitely something worth checking out because obviously a lot of fundamentals, a lot of basics that people overlook is just the main reason why a successful trader is going to succeed versus those who constantly fail. It's all about the foundation and making sure you have a good, solid understanding of how to be a better trader and not just jumping in arbitrarily. So again, FOMO in with caution, right? FOMO in with small amounts, not everything. Unless you're day trading Matic, which isn't recommended even right now at this point because we're a bit on the overextended side, I recommend just waiting for a little bit longer, okay? Take a look here at TD sequential. Again, we got this reset because the price came down. So potentially we have 6 to 8 hours worth of bullish continuation. I do think we're going to see some sideways action here soon and just wait for Bitcoin to make up its mind. I also need you to understand too that Bitcoin, as soon as 7 a.m. open, this is 7 a.m. right here, Pacific Standard Time, that's when the market opened. Okay. What do you think happens when the market closes? Bitcoin sells off. It's a very common characteristic. I'm not saying it's going to dump at 1 or 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but the likelihood of the price coming back down at that point is higher. Okay, we shouldn't expect a surge at the end of the trading day going into a weekend. It's not very common. So I just want you to understand that. Try to put that in the forefront of your mind and just note that I have your best interest in mind when I'm saying these things. I just want you to be cautious and not just FOMO in because some other person is telling you to do so. Make your own decisions, come to your own conclusions, and do your due diligence. All right? So hopefully you learned a thing or two here today. If you did, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I hope you did, of course, and look forward to getting to know you better. If you decide you want to become a member, we've got over 300 members presently, and it's an awesome experience. Really cool to be able to share that with everybody and help you get to where you need to go. So I hope you can, again, learn something there as well. Looking forward to getting to know you better. You have a great rest of your day. Thank you.